and let's be interactive. Are we all good? Daniel? So week 3, let me just get this here. Week 3, day 16, is about entertaining God's way. And sometimes we think that when we're going to change, we can't eat all that stuff that we ate when we had our picnics and our parties and things like that. So it's sad because we think we're not going to be able to entertain, but God was a social God and he was in the middle of entertainment, and we are to entertain. We're just going to make adjustments. And so do not forget to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. It's pretty exciting. I think I've run into a few angels here and there. And I just want you to be encouraged that life is not ending at the beginning of this journey.
Right.
It's going to get sweeter. It's going to get sweeter by the moment. And most of us have allowed gluten to create an intestinal road rash in our gut. I just wanted to sometimes when we have a visual like that, and then we think about that thing that's gluten that we think we can't live without anymore. If we think about that it's giving our intestine road rash, we might look at it differently, right?
Yes.
So I thought that would be good to bring out. And the Digestion Plus, which is one of the products that we talk about a lot, or digestive aids, probiotics, prebiotics, digestive enzymes. That's the combination of Digestion Plus. These are things that help to heal the gut. And the food, like the cleansing list on page, I think 58, where it says eat these foods and avoid these foods because this is the cleansing list, that when you eat that way, it is also healing the gut. So it all works together, the food choices and the supplementation, if you go that route. So you can see some of the things up there about this is some of the things that was in day 16, and I won't belabor it because I'm sure you're being good students and reading your homework. And if not, you have it to refer back to. So let's see. Can you advance me, or can I? We are fancy tonight on the recording. They're actually seeing this, so they don't have to see like a picture of me looking at it. So I may not have full access, but I have Daniel, so it's all good.
That's right.
So just take me to the next screen if you can, Daniel.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about how our body, well, we live in a toxic environment, right? We live in a toxic world. And so we get toxins by things that are in our food. We get toxins by the air we breathe. Sometimes we get toxins by the people we hang out with, because there's toxic people in the world, right?
Yes, that's true.
And we do really need to manage that. And we also, I don't know about you, but I have days when I have toxic moments that I need to go away. I need to get alone. When I've been pouring out too much and not getting poured into, I can become toxic also. So this, as we think about cleaning up our toxic environment, that's what we're going to talk about tonight, how we do that. Let me just say this, since we're here. Some of you have decided to step into letting me coach you on the Arbonne 30. And today is day 1, right before Easter. Now, isn't that really courageous? And we're going to be fine through Easter. We're going to be fine. But some of you have jumped in. Some of you are thinking about it. Not everybody will, and that's fine. But just wanted to let you know that there will be another group starting on April 29th and another group on May 6th. And there's personal coaching and support that comes with that. And that just tells you a little bit about the package, which is in the back. When I go like that, then we'll pretend.
You did it 2 times. Your 30th. Is that 17?
I didn't really do it. You did it, right? Okay. So the antibiotics, we talked about the antibiotics in day 17, that all antibiotics compromise gut immunity. But she talked about Cipro and Levaquin have the most side effects. And there are alternatives. So if this is something that you need to know about, dive in deeper or go back and review day 17. She talks about the D-mannose sugar pill and colloidal silver. Also, the body cleanse, which I have in the back, and you can taste it. You don't have to take my word for it that it tastes good. It's a lemon ginger solution that has magnesium and aloe vera and things in it that you drink to do a body cleanse, a total body cleanse. It helps to cleanse all of the organs at a cellular level. And so I want to tell you a really interesting story about that. It's a whole body detoxifier that cleanses the blood and major organs as well as the colon. I wanted to remember to say that. That's why I put it on PowerPoint. So Lisa Rae, R-A-E, you can YouTube her if you want. Here's her story. This is the testimony tonight because Harry couldn't do it tonight, but we'll get him yet. So here's the testimony. This will blow you away. Lisa Rae in her 40s, let me tell you, her mother died of cancer at the age of 27. So Lisa never knew her mother. Her older sister basically was mom in her life. And so at the age of 28, Lisa got cancer, her breast cancer, same as her mom. And she thought, oh no, this is my death sentence. Her older sister got cancer, breast cancer. She was about 42. Her sister did not respond well to treatment and lost her life. Lisa responded well to treatment and is alive and well today. Lisa went kind of on a rabbit trail to find out what's going on in my environment. Long story short, she found that there was a nuclear weapons plant in the town where she was raised. And there was an explosion during the time her mother was pregnant with her. And this was under the radar. They just knew there was some kind of plant over there. Dad didn't know what it was, what it did, what it made. And turns out it was plutonium. So she goes to her doctor. Now she's doing well through her cancer treatment and in remission. She goes to her doctor and she said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I want to be tested for plutonium. And he said, I don't even know how to test you for plutonium, but I'll figure it out. They found out how to do it. They tested her for plutonium, and she had high levels of plutonium and a whole bunch of other heavy metals in her body, which meant that she was a ticking time bomb for many other kinds of cancer to crop up and things. And so she went on this, how do I get rid of the toxins in my body? How do I get rid of this plutonium? She tried some colonics and different methods to rid her body of these toxins, but they were too harsh and her kidneys about shut down and she just couldn't do that. She found out about this Arbonne 30 detoxifying program. Long story short, she did it for several months in a row, and every month they tested her plutonium levels. Every month it went down. And she attributes a lot to that body cleanse because of, there's a lot of programs that tell you to eat this way and that kind of thing, but to have the detoxifying agents, that was the extra thing here. In 8 months, she was completely free of the toxins of the plutonium. And she is a picture of health. And if you go on YouTube and put in her name, it'll come up and you can listen to her story. But sometimes you wonder, does this really work or does it make sense? And when you hear a story like that, it just confirms the less dramatic stories that many of us have. So that's the testimony for tonight.
Hey, Jessie, before you jump off this side, I also want to mention for anybody that doesn't know Cipro, this is not just people bashing the drug, it didn't work well for them, but the FDA has actually released announcements and cautions against specifically Cipro in the family Fluoro, Quanta, something. But it's known to deteriorate your ligaments, your joints, and your bones to the point where it can be debilitating, where you're no longer able to move from the severe side effects from that specific and that family of antibiotics.
Right.
So if it's a last choice or something, just either way, just be aware going into that and make sure you discuss that with your doctor as well.
Right. Yeah, and I tell you, I was in, my boys are musicians, in case you all haven't figured that out yet. My boys are bluegrass musicians, and I go all kinds of environments to see them. And some are very family friendly, and some are like this listening audience, whatever. But I went to this place on the mountain in West Virginia, and they allowed smoking. And it was one of the best shows because there was so much crowd participation, but I feel like I was the only one in the room not smoking. And I'm like, I can't believe, like, people were smoking in this room. I knew that night I had been exposed to a lot of toxins, right? Just breathing that in. I knew it. And man, I got home that night and I'm drinking my detox tea and I'm in the shower forever and I'm drinking the 7-day cleanse the next day. And over all of my lifetime, I've been exposed to all kinds of heavy metals and Roundup and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that I can be proactive in flushing my system on a daily basis and also kind of ramp it up at times, there's a lot of value in that. So I want you guys to understand that. Now you know Jessie hangs out in smoky places sometimes. Not very often. So anyways, here's some of the list of if you want to avoid antibiotics, and obviously sometimes you're going to use them, whatever, but this is just information. I love how she says supplements down here. Digestion Plus, which is what we were talking about, vitamin D, vitamin C, and a sun lamp. Who would know, right, that a sun lamp can help you almost as much or as much as an antibiotic because it's increasing the vitamin D levels in your body. Told you you're going to see groundbreaking information here. So signs of toxicity. You say, well, I don't know if I'm toxic. I don't know if I have excess toxins in my body. Well, here's the alarms that your body sets off when you have too many toxins in your body. Obesity, diabetes, gingivitis, cardiovascular disease, eye disorders, joint pain, colon, breast, and lung cancers, inflammation, metabolic syndrome, infection, injury, arthritis, Alzheimer's disease, asthma, allergies, ulcerative colitis, and inflammatory bowel disease are some of them. So we have got to listen to our bodies. Our bodies really talk to us. Sometimes our bodies tell us we're tired, and what do? We ignore it, and we push on, and we push on, and we push on. And then we crash. If we would just listen to our bodies when they're tired. And the same thing here. When your body's in pain, we need to do something. We need to listen to our body and see what we can do. And that's what you're learning about, what you can do. So we are on discussion week 4 now, officially, and we're going to talk about exercise.
Yes.
I know I asked, oh, how many are excited that we're going to talk about exercise? I see Austin's excited in the back.
I love exercise.
I love exercise, but I will tell you, come on up, Carol. Carol's going to share with us about exercise, but I want to tell you that most people, a lot of people that I work with, I don't even talk to them about exercise for the first 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes until they get out of pain a little bit and they get over that hump, and then they're ready to exercise. And then others are ready to exercise day 1. But yes, we promote exercise and we know that it's good.
Yes.
So Carol.
It's very interesting. Mike.
Microphone. You have to use a microphone.
Because they don't need to see.
I love this lesson. This lesson was good because in our church here, one of the scriptures that our pastor loves to talk to us about is in 1 Corinthians 9, 24. I want to read it to you because it's hysterical in a way. Do you not know that in a race, all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the game goes into strict training. We're in strict training right now. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, do not run like a man running aimlessly. I do not fight like a man beating the air. No, I beat my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. So when I stop and I think about exercise, I was going to regale you with all these interesting facts about exercise, except the Lord took me in a totally different direction, surprised me. This morning, my devotional was on the power of two. Two people getting together to accomplish something. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, doesn't matter. The power of two multiplies your ability to succeed. And that's what I know I need, that multiplier in my life to succeed in this battle. I found out in this course that when I quit smoking years ago, I replaced it with food. It became my comfort. It became my solace. It used to be, you can watch the old TV commercials, sit down, have a cigarette, relax. It became, sit down, have a piece of chocolate, have a piece of cake. How about some chips, salsa, whatever. And I replaced one addiction for another addiction. So the Lord's been taking me on a journey to get past that. So the Lord said to me, here, I love this scripture. Can two walk together and they not be in agreement? We need to encourage each other desperately, especially with exercise. It may only be 15% of the equation for success, but it can trip you up if you do not have someone in your corner. So in Ecclesiastes, it says, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. So even if we just start out with 2 and incorporate more and more of us, as we've done here, Jessie, you've brought something special here. It enables us to see ahead to success. Another one from Ecclesiastes. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their work. If it was left up to me, it takes real effort to fight, to overcome eating. It is something that grabs us. I can remember as a child being told, there are people in Africa starving. You need to clean your plate. So I learned real early, clean up that plate. Now, if we're in a race, and we are, you don't find the people in the race sitting down on the sidelines. They're out there getting it moving, pushing beyond what they think they can do. 18 months ago, when I had open heart surgery for an aneurysm, I thought I would die the first time I walked into the hospital, and they tested me to walk 1,000 steps. By the end of it, I was wiped. Jessie said the one day to me, so how many steps are you doing now? 10,000. And I was like, oh, dear Lord, I would love to do 10,000. But since we've started this, I'm up over 4,000 now. For me, that's coming. a big distance. But we need each other to continue to succeed, even with exercise. Whether we get together in groups of 2 or 3 or 5, or all of us, once a week, go for a walk around the church parking lot 10 times, talking the whole time we do it. It's encouraging each other towards success. And if you're used to sitting down in your job, it's good for you. I can tell you that it increases your ability to think. It makes your brain function differently when you take an exercise. But the bottom line is we need to encourage each other to continue with every step that's laid out here. Because it's real easy to step back one time. Well, step back one more time. And pretty soon, we're back in the same boat. I don't want to be in the same boat. This, for me, is such an exciting opportunity. So I want you to know, I also checked with my insurance company. Now, for those of you that don't know, some of our insurance companies are now offering us 50% off the monthly rate to join a gym. United Healthcare does it. Supplemental plans for AARP. A lot of those are doing it now. So we have opportunities. They don't only do that, they offer you films you can watch to motivate you. They offer you exercise programs at home that you can watch. But I think we need that interaction with each other, that yay factor. You did awesome. Whoa, we increased some more steps. I think we need that. And I think we need each other to make exercise a success for us. And that's all I have. Oh, no, I have one other thing. I found a wonderful recipe at the doctor's office. And it is a spicy peach and avocado salad. And so I would like to just pass them out. Take what you'd like here and pass it on. After the 30 days, it'll be awesome.
Jessie, can I say something about exercise too?
Yeah, please.
I like what Carol said about exercise.
Yeah, that's in mind.
I like what Carol said about exercising together, because here's exercise, movement, actually is what I prefer to call it. Movement and music are the two things that activate the whole brain and get the whole brain going. And so walking comes so naturally that it is very easy to walk and worry at the same time. And so I would challenge you, whatever exercise you're doing, to engage that brain into something peaceful, something positive, because then you are more efficient and you're getting the full benefit of the exercise. If you walk and worry, you're still getting some benefit. I'm not saying that, but I want you to get the maximum. So when you're walking together with someone, because we know that companionship and affection and talking to people, it helps to make your body immune to stress and to other diseases. So when you're talking and you're walking together, that would be very helpful to engage your brain, as long as you're talking about something positive. Yeah. So, but I would encourage you when you get on the treadmill, because it's so easy, because it comes so naturally, versus doing some of the exercise that engages the brain, like yoga or Zumba or step, or some of the things that you have to concentrate on. Dancing, some kind of dance, you know, that kind of thing, line dancing. But when you're walking, we know all don't even have to think when we walk, we just walk. So I would encourage you to engage that brain on something peaceful and something positive, so that you get the full benefit of exercise. And I love Carol's idea of the teamwork approach.
Yeah.
And did you know that sitting is the new smoking?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's equivalent to
So
back
if
in
you're
the day.
sitting, you should put an alarm on your phone for every hour to
Mhm.
stand up. And also, if you have a job where you're sitting all day, try to get one of those stand-up desks. You can even, I know you can get them and add them to your desk or whatever, but yes.
I forgot one thing.
Okay.
The watches that they
The
make now.
Fitbits and things.
Mine has the alarm set
Yep.
every 30
Tells- yep,
minutes.
get
Yeah.
up.
It's saying get up and move it,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Plus, being able to see what you're walking in a day
Right.
really
Right.
helps
Yeah,
too.
because when
There's
you keep a
no
record,
shortage of tools.
Right.
Even if you don't have a Fitbit, if you have a phone, most phones have the app on there that's
Mhm.
keeping track.
Mhm.
And if you don't want to use the technology, just use the good old, have I gotten up
Right,
the last
right,
hour?
right.
But a couple of points that I wanted to mention here is weight. We know weight management, 80% is what you're putting in your mouth, and 15% is exercise. And I lived much of my life upside down, believing that I could eat whatever I wanted because I love to exercise.
Mhm.
And I found that I really didn't have to exercise as much as I was exercising. I needed to eat properly, and then I was living right side up. But it took me a long time to figure that out. And also, for those of you that are starting, don't eat too little food. So if you're having 2 shakes and a healthy meal, good, clean, healthy meal and some healthy snacks, you're going to be around 1,200 to 2,000 calories. That's just the way it's going to fall in. And we don't necessarily have you count calories, but what you don't want to do is start getting in this mindset that if I eat less, it must be better. I'm not going to lose more. That's not correct. Actually, if you fall under that 1,200, your body goes into starvation mode and it holds on to fat and it won't release the weight. So it actually is important to be eating a good number of calories and drinking your water
And managing your stress.
and managing your stress.
Mhm.
I love that. Walking and listening to music idea. That's a good reminder for me.
Mhm.
And also, if you're starting, let's say you're starting this week or next week or whenever you start, you want to kind of lighten your exercise. Let's say you are one to exercise already. On the first couple of days of this detoxifying plan, you want to kind of take it down a notch. And your body's working hard, especially those first couple of days as you're making these transitions. And then you'll be able to just get your exercise back in there, get it up to a moderate level. For those of you that love to exercise hard, go to the gym, play tennis, whatever, Austin in the back. And when you do that, and a hard workout would be classified 60-minute workout where you're really, you're breaking a sweat, you're really having a full workout for an hour, whether you're weightlifting or doing cardio or a combination. You want to have a recovery shake after that exercise. So protein with some healthy fat in there, and that is actually in addition. And you can put your banana and pineapple, the higher sugar fruits in when you're having a recovery shake. So those are just some really important things you need to know about exercise. So we have a system. So the cost of the dainty desserts. Oh God, I beg 2 favors from you. Let me have them before I die. First, help me never to tell a lie. Second, give me neither poverty nor riches. Give me just enough to satisfy my needs. For if I grow rich, I will deny you and say, who is this Lord? And if I am too poor, I may steal and thus insult God's holy name. So we know that we eat more than we need. We know that. And that's why I have this little picture of the gas tank with the food. I want us to think about just the way we put fuel in our gas tank is what food is supposed to be. I know there's times still when I eat when I'm not hungry. And then I know there's times when I'm tired and I don't realize that I didn't eat enough today. Just making that connection and really being mindful, knowing that your food needs to be your fuel. And the greener it is, the more fuel you get from it. So remember, Green, green, green. Get them in there. That's what I want to say about that. Anybody want to share a win? I know some of you have started to make some food swap outs from what we're learning. Oh, what she got there? She's got her gluten-free something.
It's, this was from Aldi. It's organic brown rice and organic quinoa. And that's all that's in it. That's the, it's gluten-free, it's GMO-free, cholesterol-free, egg-free, nut-free, soy-free, wheat-free, sodium-free, and dairy-free. I got it at Aldi. And I cooked the whole bag off tonight, and I added, right before I drained it, I threw a handful of spinach in there, and I like spinach. Yeah, so that's why I brought it in case.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
so the carbs are.
and
kinda
yeah,
high.
you have some carbs there, but you need carbs. You know, we
Yes.
don't need to like never have carbs. We don't need to have carbs a
It's
lot
the
every
kind
day.
of carbs you
It's
have.
the kind of
Seasonings in
carbs.
it, and olive oil, put olive oil in it, so it has a little bit of.
Because those carbs burn.
Yes. Yes, and it also depends on if your goal is weight loss.
Right.
Some people are just cleaning up for health reasons and not necessarily weight
That's the
loss.
penny pasta, they have different pasta kinds of that kind of pasta. It tastes just
The
like the regular
quinoa
pasta.
pastas are delicious.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else have something to share? A victory, a recipe? Thank you, Carol, for bringing that recipe.
I will say we had some this past weekend. One of the restaurants, California Kitchen, in the mall in Annapolis, their gluten-free is now the crust is cauliflower,
I love
and
that.
it's very good.
I love
And
when
we didn't
someone else
tell
is making it.
my son-in-law because he's gluten-free. We just got it for him, and after he finished eating, I said, "How'd you like that crust?" He said, "Oh, it's really good tonight." And I said, "Well, it's
Wow.
cauliflower," and he's like, "Really?" It's very good.
That is interesting. Yes.
Go ahead,
Go
Dora.
ahead. Oh, well, Martin's carries.
I was gonna say
cauliflower-
Martin's
the
has cauliflower
cauliflower
crust.
crust.
Oh, they do?
Yes, in the organic section, they're frozen. Plus, they have pizzas already made with the cauliflower crust.
Well, I did not know
With
that.
with turkey pepperoni.
Oh, that's excellent. See there?
Yeah.
We're already creating a movement. Martin's has jumped in the
Yeah,
wagon.
they have, yeah, I found that
I love
a
it.
week or so ago, but I'm still not eating some of the stuff you guys can eat yet. I'm
Right,
slowly
but
putting
you're
it back
looking
in,
forward
but
to that, right?
yeah, I love cauliflower. We make
Yeah.
cauliflower rice with our diet. We make cauliflower rice and mix it in with different things.
Yeah, so you do like a stir
Mashed-
fry
yeah.
with your vegetables and your cauliflower rice.
Oh, that's
And mashed potatoes with cauliflower.
Oh, yes, I'm actually making mashed potatoes, or I think I'm gonna do, kind of like a potatoes au gratin, only it's gonna be cauliflower.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have cheese on. Stir fry. But I'm not in my first 30. Yes.
I have two things. First of all, I made a stuffed pepper recipe with the organic beef, and I chopped up cauliflower and salsa and put salsa in with that, and it was really, really good.
That sounds
It
good.
was, yeah, that was, it was
That
really,
sounds
Yes,
really
so the
good.
salsa takes care of a lot of the seasoning for you.
yeah. And the flavor.
I added salt and pepper just because someone said, oh, you better add salt and pepper. But I'm not a salt person.
Mhm.
And so when I make it again, I would probably not add the salt ahead of time.
They can add their own.
Well, I'm the only one that eats it. So,
Oh.
but the other thing is my husband's been giving me a hard time about the organic meats. And anyway, to make a long story short, we went to Boston Market on Sunday, and I saw where Boston Market is all organic.
Really?
Are you serious?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Look at all the things we're finding out tonight.
All of their meats and vegetables are organic.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Yeah,
That's
because
good to
they
know.
added that the rotisserie chicken is.
I'm
And
going
so-
to get one.
And so when I walked up to the counter, I said, you have it posted that the rotisserie chicken is organic. What about like your turkey and and the rest of your meats? And he said, yes, all of the other meats are organic. And so I said to my husband, I said, how's that rotisserie chicken that you're eating? He says, it's really good. I said, it's really good here, but when I fix it at home, it's not so good.
That is good to know.
So yeah.
Sounds like they're on your side.
Yeah.
Well, I was this close to buying a rotisserie chicken at Sam's last weekend because they are delicious.
They are
They
but they're
are.
not organic at
No.
all. And then I looked on some of the ingredients and there was soy and the
everything.
stuff. And so I did not buy it, and now I can go to Boston
Yeah,
Market.
I got their
I'm so excited.
turkey and a double green beans, and it was scrumptious.
Excellent. Thank you. Love the sharing. We learn from each other.
That's good.
So
Easter
I'll
coming
back
up,
there a
too.
second. The wisdom is in doing, right? If we don't do it, then, we're not going to get what we want. So antioxidants squelch inflammation, healing at the cellular level. We are trying to get to a higher health position. The problem is free radicals, which often injure the cell. It's not like they're injured and then they heal and come back. They actually get injured to the point where then they're prone to turn into disease. So that's why it's so important to have the antioxidants so that you're fighting the free radicals. And on whatever day 20, you can see more detail on that, but I'm kind of pointing you to the importance of these things if you haven't had a chance to look at them. Avoid eating after 7 p.m. That 12-hour fast, that window of 12 hours, your body needs that to get into this deep detoxifying mode. So even if you find yourself eating late one night, the next morning, eat late that morning so that you give yourself that 12-hour window. And I have had people tell me that one change alone has changed their health. So there's a lot to that. You can have a cup of herbal tea after your 7 o'clock, but just not food. Next. Oh, is this working now?
No.
Okay. We're just in sync, aren't we? Okay, so let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. And that applies to what we're talking about here just as much as anything else that we're going after. The results of doing well are as sure and predictable as a garden that produces food at harvest. Plant the seeds, pull the weeds, and persevere. Plant the seeds, pull the weeds, and persevere. I had to share this and read this out loud. Get your eyes off the fries. I ran out of time or I would have had a pretty picture of fries there. Greasy, think of this. Greasy, flavor enhanced, unnaturally spike your blood sugar and douse your gut flora with genetically modified artery clogging oil and set your delicate neurological system buzzing to death with excitotoxins. I mean, I didn't write that. Dr. Linda Jeffries wrote that, and I thought, well, now that you described fries that way, it's a different story.
Reframe.
But
and fries used to have sugar in them.
and probably a lot of the fries out there at
They
the
do.
restaurants do. But I have good news. I have good news about fries. Sweet potato fries.
They're so
We
much
love
better.
Sweet potato fries. You can have them. You can bake them. You can put them in those big fancy
Air fryer.
air fryers and air cookers. I mean, they got all these things. And put a little cinnamon and cayenne pepper on them.
I don't
They
think-
are amazing.
They're
So
good
it's
for
not
you,
like
too.
you can't have fries. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Connection between gut health and Roundup. Okay, go ahead and do the next one. So Roundup is part of those toxins that we're getting through our food because it's in the ground. 70% of foods in the grocery store aisles are genetically modified. Most sugar in the U.S. is produced from genetically modified sugar beets, which have been doused with Roundup. And the whole idea of the Roundup is to get rid of the weeds, but now they modify the food so that they can spray the whole field with Roundup, and the food will grow, but the weeds will die. But the food then we eat, and we get the Roundup.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad I saw that because I wanted to ask about the sugar beets. Are sugar beets regular red beets?
Sugar beets are what we get our processed sugar from.
Oh, okay. So red beets, we can have
Red beets
on
you
it.
can have.
Red beets.
They're very good for you.
So I can do some organic, free-range grass-fed eggs and beets and use stevia and
Yes.
apple cider vinegar
Yes.
and be on the 30-day.
Yes, see?
Okay.
We're having all kinds of light bulb moments. Yes. So, an appetite for God. This is about we're talking about how the toxins get into our body, right? So we're going to talk about the skin. The skin is the largest organ of your body. It's the only organ that's totally exposed to the environment. It requires extra protection and nutrition. Skincare ingredients go directly into your bloodstream and have to be processed by your liver, your major organs. And most skincare lotions and potions have all kinds of parabens, which are your preservatives, and formaldehyde and mineral oil, things that give the product a long shelf life and help to make it smell good, even though it has animal byproducts in it because it's a cheap filler. And so you want to read your labels. You're learning to read your labels. And the thing I want to tell you about mineral oil, it gives a false sense of moisturizing. When a product has mineral oil in it, you put it on your skin and your skin feels like it's hydrated. But then as soon as it wears off, you have dry skin again. It doesn't really penetrate. Mineral oil is very cheap. It is part of the crude oil industry. And so it's refined and used very heavily for that reason. And it is the #2 cause of prematurely aging of the skin, second only to the sun. And that is because it acts like saran wrap. It doesn't allow your skin to breathe, and your skin needs to breathe. It's an organ that is getting rid of toxins, okay? So in 2003, the European Union had banned over 1,400 ingredients in personal care products because they proved that they were linked to cancer and diabetes and all kinds of disease. And the FDA has banned only 11. And the company that I'm with has over 2,000 ingredients that we don't allow, because this is a wellness movement and a company and a lifestyle. So now you know. So this is just the things that we don't put in our products. No mineral oil, parabens, phthalates, they're plastics. Formaldehyde, oh my goodness, it's like in everything when you go and start looking at the labels. Hydroquinone, that's a bleaching to lighten sun damage and things like that. It's a bleaching agent, and animal products and byproducts. So those are things you want to stay away from. The bread of life. Don't be so concerned about perishable things like food. Spend your energy seeking the eternal life that the Son of Man can give you. The true bread of God is the one who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. And today I even wrote a little thing on my social media about how Jesus is the bread of life, and we want him every day. But I teach my clients not to have bread for 30 days because bread is not what it used to be, but God is who he has been and who he always will be, and we want him to be our bread of life. As we go through this transformation, any transformation that you ever go through requires letting go of some things, right? And I think we're talking about a lot of traditions that we're letting go, but we're holding on to the good part of the tradition. We're just letting go of some of the potluck parts.
Can I just say that letting go too means that you have to change your beliefs, because it's beliefs feelings, behaviors. So if you're doing a behavior, changing a behavior, you have to let go of the belief. So that's why I would encourage everyone to be in touch with what you believe about things. And that's what we're doing, is giving knowledge to you so you can change your beliefs about things. And so, but if you're going to let go, you have to change your belief. Otherwise, you'll go right back to it.
Right. And I think that this study that Dr. Linda Jeffries didn't just share her testimony, but she did the deep research and she pulled the studies and gives us the resources of where these studies and these facts were found. And so that helps us change that belief that then motivates us to have this transformation. So we will let go of social acceptance. I mean, I know there's still times when I feel pressured to have a piece of the dessert. I mean, I went to a progressive dinner on Sunday night and the lady made 2 wonderful desserts. I felt like I had to partake. I could have definitely not, but where I am in my journey, I can do that. But if I was in my first 30 and I needed to lose 80 or 100 pounds or my health was threatened, you know, then I would be at a different place. But there's times when you're just going to feel pressured, and I want to encourage you to say, not that I can't have that, I don't want that, or I choose not to, because when you say I can't have that right now, it just sounds so negative, so sad, and so deprivating, and like everybody in the room should have a pity party for you. Yeah, so choose your words wisely and plan in advance. Yes, Austin?
Going back to what you said about bread not being what it used to be, I have a great aunt that was going through her cabinets, and she found bread that was, I think, at least a year expired. And she opened it up, and there wasn't a spot of mold.
Oh my.
Ooh, that's gross.
That's scary.
So we know it has all the chemicals to give it the shelf life, but no nutrition.
I got a 10-year-old Twinkie on my shelf at work. I'll never eat one of them again.
Wow.
That's similar like chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets, 10 years old, it looks as good as the first day.
Yeah, and that's all about the profit margin. Yes.
Well, I have a comment and a question, but the question is, I was asking you about the gluten. If it said gluten-free, does it automatically mean there's no wheat? She thought yes, but I found, I found some bread that was gluten-free, but when I turned it over, the ingredients said wheat. Does anybody know the gluten-free, wheat-free bread?
I can't eat the gluten. I mean, I'm not supposed to be eating gluten, but I can't eat gluten-free because of all the stuff they put in it when they take the gluten out. Like
like
the
potato
rice flour,
starch,
potato starch, and all the stuff that they put in it to
Does
replace
anybody know of any gluten-free bread that doesn't have wheat in it? Or if you find it out, bring it.
What was the brand that you, was it Rudy's?
I know there's Rudy's and Udi's.
It was at Udi's as well.
Rudy's, yeah.
Well, the Ezekiel bread. The Ezekiel bread is not gluten-free, but it has extra sprouted enzymes in it, so it helps you to process the gluten that's in there.
Okay.
So that's, I mean, for after the 30. So, but let me ask around with my other leaders about that, a recommendation of a gluten-free bread that doesn't have any wheat in it.
Okay, and the comment that I had was, over the past 4 years, I had a serious surgery done in July that I was told 4 years ago I was going to need to have, and I put it off, and I lost 100 pounds trying to put it off. I had a large hiatal hernia. It was touching the outer sac of my heart. I had to have it repaired down in Johns Hopkins. I was so petrified of that. But through that journey of, I guess it wasn't the best eating because I had to eat what I had to eat. But my husband, which was really interesting, because you know how guys are, they like their pizzas and all that kind of stuff. He would continuously tell me, it's only food. There's so much more to life than food. And he would never, ever pressure or make me feel bad if I didn't cook. He would just say, what are you going to have? To find out, and then he would take care of himself for it. And even now he says, you know, he's a musician. So he said, social functions don't have to be around food. Let's make them around music.
Mhm.
Oh, I
That's
tell
good.
him I am with him there.
And that is in the Bible, life is more than food.
Yeah.
That's a scripture.
Yeah, that
It's
is
just
excellent
food.
support.
And so I know it was like, well, I can't have this now, maybe I just won't have it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And food is a big part of our life. We know that. But it is still only food. Yeah, that's my little warning. So, 10 minutes, 15, 10, 15, yeah. There we go. That's all I'm gonna say about that. This is just talking about sugar. If you haven't figured out that giving up sugar is actually the best thing you can do for your health. Sugar disrupts the nervous system, the endocrine system, the metabolic system, cardiovascular system, gastrointestinal system, and immune system. It is so destructive, it can probably be linked to just about any health condition you can think of. See your list on page 88, and that will give you a little more food for thought about sugar. So you're going to say, well, what can we have, right? So you know what I'm going to say. You can't have these three.
Right.
No.
Not that you can't have them.
You shouldn't have them. They've
They're
got
not good
aspartame
for
in them.
you.
Aspartame is poison.
Aspartame is
It
poison.
is very poisonous.
So it basically damages the gut. And it increases metabolic syndrome by 34%. So if we want to get healthy and drop the toxins and the weight, that's just working against us. And aspartame and MSG have a negative effect on your neurotransmitters, overexciting and burning them out, and have been linked to migraines, fatigue, depression, and memory loss. Choose stevia. That's my message for tonight.
Oh, what about that?
That's the end. Austin, you can stop sharing screen for me.
What about that? How is it pronounced? Agave nectar?
Agave nectar.
Is that something after the 30 days that you can use? Because they have organic agave nectar. What is it?
Yes, organic agave nectar. There's some controversy around agave, and you're better off with organic honey. There's not controversy around organic honey, but I still think that organic agave nectar is better than the blue packets, the yellow packets.
I have a question about the organic honey. What makes honey, like, what do they do differently than the beekeepers that just?
Well, I guess they don't spray the area
Yeah,
that the bees are pollinating.
Is that what? It would be?
I don't know what they do, but at the organic farm I go to, I get the natural organic honey. Yeah, and when they first put it out on the shelves, like they didn't have it for a long time, and then they put it back on the shelves, and you can see that it's liquidy. I mean, it's thick, but then as it sits, it does solidify, because the one I have now is solid, but it's just so much better for you. Honey has so many beneficial,
So
aspects.
choose honey over the agave nectar.
Not a lot now. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about. My granddaughter comes to visit me and has a cup of tea, and she takes a teaspoon and she gets this gob of honey, and I'm like, Sam. And so I go like this and take like a quarter of it, and she said, that's not enough. And I said, yes, it is, because like a tablespoon of honey has like 20 grams of sugar. So you got to be careful, but it's still
especially
better
when you're
for
doing
you.
weight management.
Right.
And in the protein bar recipes, a lot of times I will water down the amount of honey that's called for in the recipe. You can still get a good consistency and reduce the calories. So, any other questions or comments? You all are doing great. Yes,
Are you?
we got one in the back.
Okay.
I have a question. The recovery shake, you're supposed to allow 4 hours after you have that to have your next meal shake if you're going to eat or
Yes.
next meal.
Yes.
If I went to the gym at 3,
Yes.
I had recovery shake and I got done at 4.
Mm-hmm.
4 hours later it'd be 8 o'clock and that's past the 7 o'clock.
Right. So I would make the modification, and I would, I'd probably do a half of a recovery shake with a 3 o'clock workout, and then have your dinner at whatever, 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Yes.
Just a comment. So there are 2 grocery stores that we use in Frederick to buy some of our organic stuff. So if you have a hard time finding stuff up here, one's called the Common Market, and the other one's called Mom's Organic.
Yeah.
Market.
Yep.
Mom's is good.
Yeah, lots of great places. Thank you. Yes.
I just wanted to tell you, I did make the protein bar recipe that's in the
Yes.
book.
Yes.
I probably won't make it again.
Yes.
Only because,
Mine's better.
well, no,
The one in the
well,
back.
It has oats in it.
yeah, I can't do the oats right now.
Okay.
But the consistency of it, and I considered it being wasteful because you use that expensive protein shake. You
Yeah.
put 4 cups of protein shake in it.
Right. Right. You
That's a
want it
lot
to
of
be
protein
right.
shake.
Yeah.
And so I made the sheet pan, but I didn't section it off like she said. I just did it kind of like a little bit bigger than the ones you had. But I don't feel that it satisfied my appetite. Like if I ate one at lunchtime, I don't
Yeah.
think it satisfied my appetite like my protein shake does. And I don't know if it's because it wasn't as much in
But do
it.
you think the one with the almond butter, I know it will satisfy me like a meal if I eat a couple of them. Do you think that the almond butter
The one you have,
Yeah,
the recipe you have.
versus the coconut milk, which is what's in the recipe, the protein bar recipe in the book, is what we're comparing to the one that I gave you the recipe in the back?
Yeah, I haven't made yours. Doesn't yours have does yours have sugar? Or
No, it has
Oats.
It has
honey.
the oats.
Yeah, gluten-free oats, but you could substitute that for nuts,
Okay.
and you could
But it's still-
substitute it for coconut. Can you do
Oh
coconut?
yeah, I eat coconut every day.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
I make it sometimes with coconut and almonds. Slivered almonds and coconut is kind of like a almond joy.
But what my point I was trying to make, I guess, is I had trouble swallowing it. That's I mean, it was like, my husband said, it looks like fudge. It's like a piece
okay. Yeah,
of creamy fudge.
yeah. And I've had some of them like
But
that.
it's just kind of, I had trouble swallowing it. Now that might just been me.
Yeah.
But I still have some left, but I mean, I won't waste it
right.
because of the
No,
protein shake.
no, we don't waste good stuff like that.
But I'll try yours next time.
All right. You keep giving us a report.
Huh? Put it on ice cream.
Oh,
You're fired.
Put it on ice cream.
Oh, I have recipes that I can make ice cream. Yeah.
All right, bring that. All right, you can go ahead and stop the meeting and I'll end in prayer.